This is Optimal Living Daily, episode 1133, How to Change Your Life in 30 Days by Benjamin Hardy of benjaminhardy.com, and I'm Justin Malik. Happy Thursday, almost to the weekend, and welcome back to Optimal Living Daily, where I narrate blogs for you so that you can take a break from staring at a screen. This episode is brought to you by Audible. I use it. I already know you love listening to narration, so Audible is the perfect complement for you. You can choose 3 titles every month, 1 audiobook and 2 Audible Originals that you can't hear anywhere else. Our author today, Benjamin Hardy, has a great book on Audible. I'll tell you about that later. So get started with a 30-day trial. Go to audible.com/old or text OLD to 500-500 and listen for a change. That's audible.com/OLD or text OLD to 500-500. Now let's get right to the post as we optimize your life. How to Change Your Life in 30 Days by Benjamin Hardy of benjaminhardy.com. Your identity is not fixed, but highly fluid. Your identity follows your behaviors. So how does this work? It works based on 2 very important psychological concepts. First, self-signaling, which means that as a person, you evaluate and judge yourself the same way you judge others based on behavior. So if you watch yourself do something, you identify yourself with that behavior. If you drink alcohol, for example, you begin to identify yourself as someone who drinks alcohol. If you wake up early, you identify yourself as someone who wakes up early. If you write articles online, you identify yourself as a writer. Thus, how you see yourself is highly fluid and based on your own behaviors. As your behavior changes, your perceived identity changes. And second, precognition, which means that thoughts don't necessarily lead to behaviors, but that behaviors can also lead to thoughts. In other words, common wisdom suggests that your inner world creates your outer world. Hence, mental creation precedes physical creation. This is certainly true, but behaviors and environments can also create internal states. For example, if you jump into an ice-cold bath, you'll begin to experience a cascade of emotions and thoughts, or lack of thoughts. What precognition shows is that you can actually predict your inner state by behaving in certain ways and by placing yourself in certain environments. Thus, change doesn't only happen from the inside out, but also from the outside in. Both of these ideas are strongly related to other research in psychology, which suggests that behaviors generally come before psychological states. Again, this goes against most common wisdom. My favorite example is the research on self-efficacy, confidence, which shows that confidence isn't what produces high performance, but rather that high performance is what produces confidence. Put simply, if you want to have confidence, you can have it. All you have to do is behave in desired ways, even for a short period of time. Why does all of this matter? It matters because you have the power to radically change your identity. Even at a biological level, new science in epigenetics and neuroplasticity is showing how malleable and fluid our biology is. The problem with succeeding. Most people plateau, even successful people. It's actually very common for people who are succeeding to get stuck. Think about some of your favorite authors, musicians, and even companies. At some point, they generally stop being as innovative. We all have that band we love whose first album or 2 had way more soul. Then once they became famous, their music became far more tame. The same is often true of world-class chefs. Once a restaurant becomes highly successful, they usually stop innovating the menu as much. Once something is working, it's hard to go back to ground zero. In psychological terms, your motivation can go from approach-oriented to avoid-oriented. Specifically, all goals are either offensive or defensive. If you're seeking to advance your current position, you're approaching. If you're seeking to maintain your position or avoid something bad from happening, you're avoiding. When you're approaching, you're less concerned about risks and more focused on rewards. You're willing to take risks. You're willing to fail. You're being pulled forward. When you're avoiding, you're less concerned about the rewards and more focused on the risks, and you have no desire to proactively confront those risks. Instead, you're simply trying to shield yourself from any problems that come your way. I've seen this with many of my role models. For example, some of my favorite authors have shifted from approach-oriented to avoid-oriented. I can see it in their work. It's become far more safe. They're making far less significant ideological attempts in their writing. Their books are becoming more mainstream, obviously calculated and less intuitive and inspired. When you begin succeeding, your focus can shift from why to what. Instead of operating from your core, you're simply trying to maintain success. This is how you get stuck. This is how you get confused and lose your identity. Are you on offense or defense? Are you approaching or avoiding? Are you proactively becoming the person you want to be? Or are you holding on to the person you think you are? The antidote: never stop reinventing yourself. In the brilliant Netflix documentary Chef's Table, which highlights the lives of the world's most successful chefs, one particular episode stands out. The #1 chef in Asia, Gagan Anand, is known for spontaneously throwing out his entire menu and starting from scratch, even when his current menu is getting lots of attention. This may not seem like a big deal, but it is. When a restaurant starts getting recognized in certain awards, it's generally based on the menu and overall atmosphere. Being literally #1 in Asia, it would make sense for a Gagan to keep his restaurant how it is. But that's not what he does. Creativity and always pushing his own boundaries is what he is about. So just because something is working doesn't give him permission to stop evolving. So he reinvents himself over and over and over, no matter how hard it is to walk away from something brilliant. A true creator never stops pushing their boundaries. They never stop reinventing. Once you become awesome at something, use your new learning abilities to become awesome at something else. The whole notion of finding your calling has led people to have fixed views of themselves. There isn't just one thing you were born to do. You can expand and grow in countless ways, especially after you learn the process of learning. You can take all of your experience becoming great at something and quickly become proficient at something else. In this way, you never plateau. You're always growing and evolving as a person. The 30-day challenge. Given that your identity is fluid and malleable, you have an amazing opportunity to redefine who you are. All you have to do is consistently and boldly reshape your behavior. You can do this in the form of a 30-day challenge. What's something you've wanted to do that you haven't done? Or what's something that would clearly lead you to a place you'd like to be? It could be 30 days of extreme health and fitness. That would definitely change things. It could be facing extreme fear, like 30 days of asking people on dates. It could be 30 days of writing articles or filming videos. Whatever it is, if you do it for 30 days, your identity will change. Your fears will become cauterized and neutralized. You'll adapt to your new behaviors. Your psychological state will change. You'll begin to identify with your new behaviors. Will you have to deal with some negative emotions along the way? Will you face a load of resistance and fear? Will you want to quit? The answer is probably yes to all those questions. But this is how you separate yourself from the masses. This is how you make quantum leaps in your progression, while most people make incremental progress. This is how you consciously shape your identity and future. Where will you be in 30 days from now? Who will you be 30 days from now? You just listened to the post titled How to Change Your Life in 30 Days by Benjamin Hardy of benjaminhardy.com. And thank you to Audible for their support. Get your trial at audible.com/old or text OLD to 500-500. Audible has the largest selection of audiobooks on the planet. And now with Audible Originals, the selection has gotten even more custom with content made for members. Benjamin Hardy, who I just narrated for you, has a great book called Willpower Doesn't Work. It's on Audible. I recommend that one. In just the first couple of chapters, I already had some notes on it and shared quotes in my newsletter even. You can listen on any device, anytime, and anywhere. You also get easy audiobook exchanges, rollover credits, and an audiobook library you keep forever, even if you cancel. To get started with a 30-day trial, go to audible.com/old or text OLD to 500-500 and listen for a change. That's audible.com/OLD or text OLD to 500-500. And that should do it for today. Have a very happy Thursday if you're listening in real time, and I'll see you in the Friday show tomorrow, where your optimal life awaits.